There are some men whose wartime service become inseparable from the stories told about them. Men whose names are no longer just found in military records, but in books, television series, and collective memory. William Wild Bill Guarnere is one of those men. For many people, he is first encountered through Band of Brothers, portrayed as the furious, fearless paratrooper who seemed to thrive in the chaos of combat. But behind the television portrayal was a real man shaped by poverty, family loss, relentless training, and an unbreakable loyalty to the soldiers of Easy Company. Guarnere's war did not begin in Normandy, nor did it end when he lost his leg in the frozen woods of the Ardennes. His story stretches from the streets of southern Philadelphia to the drop zones of D-Day, through the hedgerows of France, through the fields of Holland, and through the shell-torn forests of Bastogne. To understand William Guarnere is to look far beyond the legend of Wild Bill and examine how closely the man matched the myth, where Band of Brothers got it right and where the reality was more complex, more painful, and ultimately more human. This is the story of Staff Sergeant William J. Guarnere Sr., one of the many who served in the Band of Brothers. William Guarnere was born on April 28, 1923, in South Philadelphia, the youngest of 10 children in a tight-knit Italian-American family. His upbringing was shaped by the Great Depression, a strong sense of family loyalty, and an early exposure to discipline through the Citizens Military Training Camp program, which he entered as a teenager by lying about his age with his mother's blessing. This early military exposure gave Guarnere a sense of belonging and a purpose long before the United States entered the war, and laid the groundwork for the aggressive, uncompromising soldier he would later become. In Band of Brothers, Guarnere is introduced as largely a hardened, already battle-ready figure, but in reality his path to war was gradual. After the attack on Pearl Harbor, Guarnere left school to work at Baldwin Locomotive Works, building Sherman tanks, a job that exempted him from the draft. Despite this, he enlisted voluntarily in August 1942. Guarnere was sent to Camp Toccoa, where he joined Easy Company of the 506th Parachute Infantry Regiment. The training at Toccoa was brutal, physically punishing, and psychologically demanding, forging bonds that would last a lifetime. In Band of Brothers, Guarnere is often shown clashing with authority during training, particularly under Herbert Sobel, and this depiction is largely accurate. He was outspoken, impatient with incompetence, and fiercely loyal to his fellow enlisted men. However, the show sometimes exaggerates his recklessness for dramatic effect. Guarnere understood discipline when it came from leaders he respected and trusted, particularly Richard Winters. Just before parachuting into Normandy, Guarnere would hear about his brother's death at the hands of the Germans. Henry Guarnere was serving as a medic in Italy.
Bill Guarnere's brother.
Remember this. I didn't lie to you, but you were right and I was...
This loss profoundly shaped Guarnere's outlook on the war and his attitude towards the German enemy. Band of Brothers captures his hatred clearly, often portraying Guarnere as openly hostile and eager to kill Germans. He stated in an interview, "I couldn't wait to get off the plane. I killed every German I could. And that's why they called me Wild Bill." In reality, his aggression was not reckless insanity, but deeply personal grief. On D-Day, June 6, 1944, Guarnere made his first combat jump into Normandy. Scattered by flak and chaos, he linked up with Winters and a small group of paratroopers near St. Mary-de-Mont. One of the most famous moments from both history and Band of Brothers occurs here, when Guarnere opened fire on a German supply column before Winters gave the order. The series portrays this as near insubordination, highlighting tension between the two men. This moment exemplified Guarnere's personality. Impulsive, deadly, and driven by an overwhelming desire to destroy the enemy before they could regroup. Later that same day, Guarnere took part on the assault of the German artillery battery at Brécourt Manor, one of the most studied small unit actions of the war. Winters appointed Guarnere as platoon sergeant during the assault, a testament to his trust in Guarnere's leadership under fire. Guarnere played a key role in moving men forward under fire and keeping momentum during the assault. His actions at Brécourt earned him the Silver Star, making him one of 2 Easy Company members to receive the award while serving with the unit. Throughout the Normandy campaign, Guarnere's reputation as a relentless fighter grew. The show sometimes leans heavily into his nickname Wild Bill, often framing him as almost uncontrollable. The veterans later emphasised that he was not careless. His fellow soldiers trusted him because he was always at the front, never asking anyone to do something he wouldn't do himself. During Market Garden in Holland, Guarnere was wounded while checking on his men along an extended defensive line. He famously stole a motorbike to move faster, only to be shot by a sniper and sent back to England. Band of Brothers includes this episode but downplays what followed. In reality, Guarnere escaped from the hospital against orders, covering his cast with black shoe polish and walking out in agony to rejoin Easy Company. He was caught, court-martialed, demoted, and then quietly returned to his unit when paperwork failed to catch up with him. This act perfectly encapsulates Guarnere's personality, fiercely loyal to Easy Company to the point of self-destruction. During the Battle of the Bulge, Easy Company was thrown into the freezing forests around Bastogne and Foy.
This is Old Jack's Woods, right? It is the woods. Sure looks different now, there ain't no snow. Yeah, we had an outpost set up, looking right into the town of Foy, and they had to watch everything going on, because we'd come in here and go to sleep. We had our foxholes right over here, and the other area, wherever we had to move out and dig in again. Of course, the Krauts had plenty of artillery. Most intense I went through right here. Shelling. Most intense in the world. You just dove in the hole and just pray. That's it. If it comes in, you ain't going to know it. You ain't going to know it.
In January 1945, while under heavy artillery fire near Foy, Guarnere attempted to drag his close friend Joe Toy to safety after Toy lost his leg due to shell fire. Moments later, another shell exploded, destroying Guarnere's right leg. This is one of Band of Brothers' most faithful recreations of real events. The show captures the random brutality of the artillery fire, and the bond between men better here than almost anywhere else. Guarnere returned to the United States in 1945, his combat days over. He struggled to adjust to civilian life, refusing to use a prosthetic once he secured full disability, and relying instead on crutches. Band of Brothers largely skips over this period, ending his story on the battlefield. Guarnere's post-war life was defined by memory, loyalty, and service to his fellow veterans. He married, raised a family, and remained deeply involved with Easy Company reunions and veterans organisations for decades. In later years, Guarnere co-authored Brothers in Battle, Best of Friends with Babe Heffron, offering a raw, unfiltered account of the war that often contradicted the more polished narrative of Band of Brothers. While he appreciated the series for honouring his fallen friends, Guarnere was clear that Hollywood softened some truth and exaggerated others. He believed that the show got the spirit of Easy Company right, even if it sometimes missed the complexity of the men themselves. William Guarnere died on the 8th of March 2014. At the age of 90. His legacy lives on through memorials, statues, and the enduring image of a fierce loyal paratrooper immortalised in Band of Brothers. Yet beyond the screen, Guarnere was more than a nickname or a caricature of aggression, a man whose war never truly ended, but whose devotion to Easy Company never wavered. He was one of those extraordinary men who, when history demanded it, he did something extraordinary. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like, subscribe and turn that bell notification on, share it with your friends, and leave me a comment. Let me know who you'd like to see a video on next. Because sometimes history doesn't need a rewrite. It just needs to be told properly.
I'm just one part of the big war, that's all. One little part. And I'm proud to be a part of it. Sometimes it makes me cry.